when I do this, because it's all, I'll take my socks off. Just, it's all comedy, isn't it? It's all divine comedy. It's also absurd. How you guys doing? Welcome to church. And now live from hell, here's Griselda with the weather. Vibration. I say that because my friend Edward Jan, I'm not sure how to pronounce his last name, but that was his comment recently on one of the posts that I posted on Thanksgiving with the Joker, the new Joker, leaving like in a flaming car. It was like about speaking politics on Thanksgiving or something like that. And so he made that meme. And when I posted it, that's what he wrote. And I said I was going to use it now on Church on the B-Sides. Live from hell, this is Griselda with the weather. I thought that'd be a perfect way to start. How are you guys doing, guys? So cool to see y'all. Again, I wish we had the whole Scotty beam me up thing going on. Oh yeah, Michael. We got Elizabeth from Canada here. We got Michael from Minnesota. Y'all are getting snowed out, right? Even in Canada. We got Terry. We got Jackie. Good to see you all. Again, like I said, I wish we could just beam all of ourselves up into the same space. Oh, thank you. Todd is so sweet, man. He got everything ready for me on my laptop right now, so thank you. Yeah, it's been a crazy week. I've had a very bipolar week. Super low lows and then super high highs. And I say that, sort of flippantly, and I don't want to offend anyone who is actually suffering from bipolar disorder or anything like that. But I think we all are bipolar, and we all are narcissistic, and we all are borderline, and we all are schizophrenic on some levels. If we're not, it's just because we haven't been driven to that point of insanity yet. I think we all have aspects of all these things, and these titles are things, I've talked about this before, that the machine has had to create in order to organize this phenomenon. So anyway, I say bipolar because it's been that kind of week. Whoa. Emotionally for me, and just psychologically and all those things. So anyway, you're not alone if you've had one of those weeks, or you had one 2 weeks ago or whatever. It's pretty crazy. That's what it's like to be alive here on planet Earth as a human being, right? It's a pretty crazy week. But I always look forward to being here with you guys. Like I said before, church is actually helping me just as much as I hope that it can be and is helping you. Something to look forward to. I always really appreciate it when I find something on a weekly basis to look forward to genuinely. And so I hope that you feel that way. I feel that way. And every week we are improving more and more and more. And so, again, this is a creative process I'm sort of doing out loud in front of all of you guys. You guys see all the fuck-ups, and then you see the improvement to the fuck-ups. It's an organic process. This is the creative process. And I hope that anyone who's watching now live or who's watching later might be inspired by observing this growth. If you're feeling a little bit insecure, if you're feeling a little unsure about some kind of creative path that you want to take, something that you're afraid is not perfect enough, it's not ready enough, and so you keep on telling yourself not to do it because it's not ready enough. You have to start to make it ready. And that's the scary part. You just have to just start, right? And then, be able to make fun of yourself. Don't take yourself so seriously. You are your highest muse. You are your own experiment. And that's how magic works. You're your own transformation. You're your own destruction. This is the way that it works. And so I hope that watching this might be helping you, give you some courage if you feel like that you're lacking some courage. Give you a little push to just keep moving forward and doing whatever it is and manifesting whatever it is that you feel you want to manifest. So I just want to say that because I understand how scary it is, and you can't worry about what people are going to think. The right people are going to come to you when you put out your truest self in your most vulnerable way, in a very creative way, and you will attract those people who are feeling that same vibration. Oh my God, wow. Today's about the vibration, the Hermetic Principles, right? So that's what we're talking about today. So, but before I do that, I wanted to again reintroduce, here we have Totatos, Hermes. Again, here, this is Church on the B-Sides, everybody. We are a freak show here. We talk about deep things for those who are maybe tuning in for the first time or who are going to see this later after the live. We are a freak show here. We're a carnival of freaks, and we talk about deep wisdom. We explore things like philosophers. We remember our mythology. We're storytellers, and this is what we do here. So I'm a huge advocate of not taking ourselves too seriously, because we're getting in the way of ourselves if we do that. And I think that finding humor and absurdity in all things helps the medicine go down, the medicine go down, the medicine go down, you know. Just a spoonful of absurdity makes the medicine go down in the most delightful ways. Now, who the hell do I think I am? I am Criselda Pacheco, and my priestess name is Lumen Sophia. I'm a Neo-Luciferian Gnostic priestess, and was ordained in July of 2014, consecrated in July of 2014. And so all of a sudden, now here I am doing this. This is Church on the B-Side, the flip side, the inverse of the other side. And here is Larry the Devil. He is my better half of my soul. He follows me around, and he double checks with me, makes sure that I am doing what I'm supposed to do, and you know, really naughty ways. And we have Totatoth, you know, I told you about this guy. This is what we're talking about for the next several weeks, the Hermetic Principles and how to apply them, how to see them in your life every day, not keeping them lofty up in the air in some cloud where, you know, you can remain detached from this wisdom, because the truth of nature is not as that it is abstract, but there are ways to practically see it. And I think that a lot of times occultists and esotericists, you know, this becomes so deep, it's so primordial and so chaotic and abstract that it feels like an untouchable knowledge, an unreachable knowledge to people living their lives, trying to survive, you know, just trying to survive. It's really, that's the bottom line. And I don't like that. I want to be able to see if I can create a space and a way to help people grasp these concepts, because the truth is we all know them. We just have to remember them. So anything that I say that triggers you know, what is it? It's a remembrance, an epiphany. It's a remembrance. I've talked about this before. It's because this blueprint is in all of you. So let me see what you guys are saying real quick. I want to say hello. I said hello to all the usual suspects. Thanks for being here. And then we have Emilio Mireles. Oh, thanks for thanks for the, yeah, this is a cool top hat, huh? Yes, too new agey. That's right. That's my point. You know what, to me, Emilio, you mentioned how it becomes new agey. I can't stand that shit. I can't stand it because it's so lofty and pretentious. And you know what it is? It's like the same false morality of Christianity, the same like superiority complex that's inside of these religions that are man-made, that are truly there to keep making people feel bad about themselves and ashamed of their human nature, instead of helping them understand the human nature so that we can all be whole again. Eric, people don't realize no knowledge is unreachable. Yes, it is, but you have to put action behind the reaching for it. And that's what I think is sometimes missing, Eric, is that people are afraid to put action behind what they think they know, what they intuit that they know or understand. And so therefore it remains this lofty idea instead of something that's directly experienced. And when you experience the knowledge, that is what helps to integrate it. Now it deepens your understanding. Knowledge is knowledge but when you experience the knowledge, it becomes understanding, right? And this is what the Gnostics knew. This is what the Gnostics know, and this is what Gnosticism is rooted in, is direct experience of that knowledge. Oh yeah, put the crystal up your butt and then say namaste 12 times. That sounds kinky. Oh, let's see. Okay, yes. Thank you. My fiance was reminding everybody, because I just went off on a tangent. Today is first Twitch live stream. Fifth Horse Presents. Can't get respond to Twitch chat box.
So read the top line.
So, huh?
Yeah, read that top line again.
Today is first Twitch live stream.
Yep.
Fifth Horse Presents.
That's the channel.
So I think that I'm not sure if somebody is going to post the link to the Twitch channel, but we are actually on Twitch now. Today we are simulcasting here on Facebook and Twitch. Fifth Horse Presents. We're looking for ways to reach a wider audience, and then we're also going to move into YouTube. So we're going to try to in 2020 be simulcasting from YouTube, from Twitch, and then Facebook, and then at some point hoping to do that on Instagram, which is another huge platform. It's hard to try to cover all these grounds. You have to have a lot of devices and things like that. So anyway, any of you creators out there who do anything online, you understand the challenge that I'm speaking about. So, all right, so I'm going to come back and I'll read the rest of your comments in a minute. I'm going to keep on going, you guys. So thanks for being here. Thanks for the new faces for showing up. Again, I'm going to say this is a place for those who stumbled here and not for those who arrived on a chariot. We are philosophers here, and people are welcome who are earnestly seeking information, earnestly seeking knowledge, earnestly seeking a way to connect the dots, right? That's exactly what this place is for. I really don't give any time to people who show up and think they know it all. This is not a place for that. There's so many places for that, and this is not one of them. And so I wanted to also shout out to everybody from Luciferian Society who is watching. As I mentioned, I'm a Neo-Luciferian Gnostic Priestess. I'm an admin in the Luciferian Society on Facebook. And so I wanted just to give a special hello to my people. Thanks for showing up and joining us here on Church on the B-Sides. You're always welcome to join in and participate, ask questions, or send me private questions via the page. You are certainly my people, and so thanks for showing up. So let's see what else we got going on here. I already introduced Diary. I have notes because I'm trying to get better at this, right? Yes, and one more thing, speaking of the questions, I wanted to mention this. We're going to start a whole segment called, Dear Lumen Sophia, because I do get a lot of messages already. People asking me questions about a lot of things, everything from magic to kind of like an advice. And I'll be taking questions via the fan page too, and then I can pick a question throughout the week, and then I can read that out loud here on Church on the B-Sides. And it'll be anonymous. I'm not going to tell anybody who you are, because that's just not cool. So you can feel safe and all snuggly and everything, that your question might be asked live here, and that I hope that I can provide something like an answer or some suggestions. Because remember, everything I say here on Church, that on the B-Sides, everything that I talk about here should be questioned. I always encourage people to question me. Don't believe me right off the bat. These are what I'm doing here is I'm sharing things that I have come to see via my own experience as a female, as somebody who has worked in the underground economy for a long time, as a minority female, and all these different spaces that I've occupied have given me a very unique kind of experience on the planet, right? Observing our civilization, observing our society. So I'm coming from these different places. They're not right or wrong. I just want to share with you as if we were sitting around a circle here and being like, oh, what has that experience been like for you? What has that experience been like for you? And this is the way it's been for me. So please question me and go off and look it up yourself. But I will not tolerate bullying here, and I will not tolerate trolls, because that's just no fun. Okay, cool. Oh, cool. Thanks, Michael. I see Emila's asking a question. Okay, so here we go. Oh, the pinned comment for the link. The link to the Twitch is in the comments here. All right, you guys. Without further ado here, I just want to make sure I copied, that I went over everything I need to go over. So, yeah, we've got like 5 more weeks till 2020, you guys. Man, all my fellow human beings, time is speeding up. What are your plans, your soul plans for 2020? I don't want to know about plans, for your business or, those things are important. I understand, but I want to know deep rooted answers. Like, what is it that you're attempting to let go of? What are you attempting to draw closer and nearer to you in your life, and why? Have you asked yourself these questions? Are the people that surround you right now, are they representative of who you are at your at your core root? Do you feel like you are living in alignment? Like, are they reflecting back to you the things that you need to grow? If not, what is it you can do differently? Because the truth is, when we start to change and readjust what it is that we want more of in our lives, and so we have to let go of certain things, it's like an earthquake occurs. And when the earthquake occurs, what happens when an earthquake happens? Well, the ground moves literally beneath our feet. Something might fall apart over here, and something might be cracked open over here. And so there's a lot of like an adjustment, like a cracking of the back of the earth, and then a cracking of the back of ourselves, of our souls, of our minds, of our whole entire experience, our reality. And that's why I think that a lot of people are afraid to make these changes, because the psychological changes are hard enough, but the financial impacts, right, are the real scary parts of change. What if we are depending on something that is no longer serving us to help us survive? Man, that's scary. And I think that that's the bottom line for a lot of us, for a lot of people on the planet, just everyone. And that's so hard. I mean, how the hell do you make those kinds of adjustments? It's really difficult. You remember I told you guys about the whole clutter in the house and how we're trying to deal with that and get rid of old things. And my old stripper gear. I used to be a stripper for a long time, you guys that don't know. I have like 10 years worth of stripper gear, and the other day I was looking at it and I wanted to throw it away. And then I couldn't throw it away because I felt like this sudden, I felt paralyzed. And I wanted to just weep. I didn't want to just cry. I wanted to be like, like scream, like ugly cry. And I just was like, man, what the hell was that all about? So what I did was I packed it all up in these 2 giant bins from Home Depot. And I've gotten rid of a lot over the years, but there's still a whole hell of a lot left, right? So I'm going to put that up. And so I'm bringing that up because I really think that talking about vibration, we have to make room for the new story. And we always think, well, is emptiness going to remain empty? What's going to fill the new emptiness? Is it going to just remain a big giant void? And for me to just hear my own thoughts in an empty room, like echo back at me, as if I'm not scared enough of my own thoughts. Now I got to hear them in this, echo chamber. That's even scarier. And so, and thinking of the whole idea of vibration, I'm going to start here. There's a lot we can talk about regarding vibration, but I want to start here because, the thing about that is, when you talk about New Age, when you talked about the New Agers earlier, I don't remember who it was that mentioned it. I'm sorry. My brain is not. Was it Emilio or was it Eric? I don't remember who it was. One of you guys mentioned the whole idea of the New Age stuff, because that shit gets on my nerves. And that's what I'm talking about when I mentioned on the commentary for this show today that I'm going to talk about more of what vibration I think is not. And I want to give an example of how it's being presented in the world in a mainstream way, so we can examine that and sift through what is really not rooted in the truth of the natural law, and then see what is still religion in it, and which is dogma, which is still shame, which is still hierarchy and superiority and those sorts of things. So when we talk about vibration, we hear good vibes, or I don't want to be around bad vibes, or if you're a bad vibrating person, then stay away from me. What does that mean? Really, let's look at that stupid shit. Let me say, I know some people online. I know y'all know some people online too who do this all the time. And they're always like, good vibes, good vibes, good vibes. Smiling like this. And it's the same pose everywhere they go. Smiling, good vibes. And to me, that's slimy vibes. It's slimy vibes. It's not good vibes if it's slimy. Because it's like, you're pretending. Pretending is not a high vibration. Are they saying that somebody who's genuinely depressed, really suffering, going through some real shit in the mud, that they don't want to be around them because they're low vibes? They have low vibration. You know, it's just like, shut up. Guess what? The person in the mud who is deeply depressed, who has lost all faith in humanity, who has completely given up, who is at the brink of just wanting to be suicidal. Let me tell you what, guess what? Listen to this. This is what I think. And maybe I'm fucked up, but I think that person has a higher vibration when they express it from that place than the person who refuses to be around them because they're just low vibes and they're going to bring them down. I think that place is honest as hell. I think there's no pretending when somebody is in the mud and they've given up. You know that Shawshank Redemption, I brought this up I think here before, the scene of when, what's his name? Who's the guy in Shawshank Redemption? The dude, the black dude, Samuel Jackson. When he says he goes to the parole board 3 times. Have you guys seen this movie? And every time he goes to the parole board, you know, the first time he goes, they're going to let him out. He's like, oh, I'm rehabilitated. Oh yeah, I'm totally fine. I'm just great and fantastic. And then they deny his parole, right? The second time, he's not as, you know, excited about it, but he's still like, well, I'm sure that I'm good and I'm this and that and everything's fine. And they still rejected it. And then the third time, he shows up there and he's just like, look, motherfucker, stop wasting my fucking time. I think about who I was, that boy that I was, and I want to talk to him. And he starts to go on, and then he ends with, so you know what? Just put your stamp on that paper and stop wasting my time. And they're like, approved. Because he didn't give a shit. He was just honest. He wasn't going to pretend. He wasn't going to act anything. He wasn't going to, you know, the road to hell is paved with a pretender, people. He wasn't going to pretend anymore. His truth was his truth, and he just fucking said it because he couldn't take it anymore. I have respect for people, man, who just come right out and say it. And they're stuck in the mud, and they're in hell. They're not going to come up with some kind of fancy way to express it. They're going to just tell you who gives a shit. Man, I'll tell you what. I have always said, I respect somebody who is that honest than anyone else who is just so wrapped up in wanting to pretend to be something or someone they're not, or that they are doing, they have to say this, they can't say that because it's not right or wrong. No, how about you just be honest? You think that the cat is going to lie to you? Do you think that, you know, the tiger's going to lie to you? Is the elephant going to lie to you? Is the giraffe going to lie to you? Is the rain going to lie to you? Is the sun, is the moon going to lie to you? No, it's going to be what it is. Pray one day all of us are like the sun, the moon, the cat, the lion, and the tiger, and the giraffe, and the elephant. To me, this whole new agey, vibey bullshit is just religion again. It is religion again. Because it's asking you to pretend. It's saying you're not good enough to be next to me if you're suffering. I'm superior to you. Isn't that always, and I've noticed that a lot of people who can afford organic tea and going to Starbucks every day, who live in a fancy ivory tower, who are sitting there with their salmon and bagel and cream cheese morning, you know, fucking brunch with their fancy coffee and a high-rise looking out into the city and all that. Good vibes, good vibes, good vibes. To me, it seems like all this shit is connected to class again. Again! It's bullshit. Everyone out there who's suffering, sincerely confused and in pain, you're not alone. You are braver than anyone else who's pretending to be better than you. Your vibration is at the highest because you are the most honest. And it takes courage to be that honest. And when you have that kind of courage, you are vibrating at the highest. Hallelujah. You guys are awesome. You guys are going on. I'm going to take a second and look at your comments. Okay, I'm so excited when I see all that scrolling like that. It's so fun. All right, let me see. I hope I didn't. I'm going to try to scroll to where. Hey, Patricia Mitchell. She's joining us from South Africa, everybody. Yes. Oh, God. Depending on others for survival is a great producer of anxiety and authenticity. God, that's just the root of it all on this corporate bullshit, too. I mean, and not just the corporate America, Terry, but everywhere. Yes. Here you go. Emilio, you're right. It's hard trying to survive this material reality and being yourself. Isn't that just ironic, too, Emilio? Because when you go to work, you know everybody there is naked under their clothes too, and they're all going to go take a shit at some point that day, and it's like, can't we all just admit that you're naked, you stink, and you're going to take a dump today in the fucking, employee bathroom? Everybody knows. So why can't we just relax, and help each other? Yes. The first law of the universe. Yes, and thank you, Emilio. Because I'm going on and on, but I wanted to talk about that because you're talking about, and tell me if this is what you're talking about, even when you talk about let there be light, right? Let there be light! And there was light. Really what that means to me is the vibration has created and moved matter. It has created and moved everything and turned it into matter. Like nothing is ever still. And this is the deeper esoteric truth of it. So we talked about what it's not in some level. We talked about how, the good vibrations and the stupid shit that's everywhere on social media, and then the yoga, and, everybody's drinking a camel tea and stuff like that. But nobody's talking about the truth. They're just stretching. They're not talking about the truth. They're just like, hi! Oh my God. That's not good vibes. It's boring. We talked about that. This is the way it's presented itself in the world right now. And I see my friends falling for it. Or people I haven't talked to in a while just because for no reason that our lives are all complicated. It's hard to keep in touch with everybody all the time. And I see it. I'm just like, stop pretending. Like it feels like you're constipated. Just let it go, Be honest. So the truth of vibration is it has no morality to it. It has no judgment to it. It has no good or bad. There's no negative or positiveness in the way that we view negative or positive, but we assign moral judgment to negative and positive. It is what it is. Is the sun negative or positive? Is the lion negative or positive? I mean, it is what it is. And then we make of things what our intention is. We create something out of what our intention is. So it's good to know our intention. Vibration is sound. What are you made of? What am I made of? If we could get to the point where we can all see the atoms that we are each made of, each atom is another universe. It's unfathomable, right? It's unfathomable. A whole bunch of atoms put together create matter. And every single thing that looks still cannot be still. This is also how we know, in my opinion, that there's no such thing as death. Because everything is just transformed into something else. Matter cannot be destroyed. It transforms into something else. This is the nature of our reality. And just because we cannot observe that phenomenon with our plain eyes does not mean that it is not real. And so vibration is everything from sound. It's the sound. It's the creating of the universe, like Emilio said. Okay, let's see. I'm going to go and look at your, let's see. I'm going to read your stuff here. All right. Oh, the movie, yeah. And your opinion's not going to cut me a check. Yeah, that's right. Let's see what Patricia says here. I believe you need to experience both low and high vibe energy to understand how our emotions and moods affect vibration. They're just different forms of energy. Right. Exactly. Please write it down so those guys can see it clear. New Age is Christianity for hippies. I'm going to make a shirt that says that. New Age is Christianity for hippies. Oh, namaste. Namaste. Waiting to experience this high vibration, what they talk about. I live in a real world where most people are still suffering on lower vibration of reality. Right. So, a lot of people want to equate poverty with low vibration. I'm going to tell you, on some greater, scheme of things, if we assign a morality to the rich or the poor, then we're going to always make the poor evil. And somehow, now we're in this prosperity gospel bullshit where you have, what's his name? Did y'all see, by the way, what's his name, Dave? The guy in Dallas or Houston? Joel Osteen. Joel Osteen. Did you see him with Kanye West at church? That was the funniest shit. So to me, the prosperity gospel, they talk about that on Joel Osteen. I watched it because I knew Kanye West was going to be on there and I wanted to just laugh. So I watched the thing and there's people, give everybody, there's a bucket or whatever going around and give, and then the more you give, the more God's going to bless you. I mean, so look, and then I heard Cardi B talk about that. Bless her heart, I like Cardi B. She said on one of her lives a couple of weeks ago that she knows God loves her because God continues to bless her, with money. Ugh. And it makes me feel gross. And I lived in Haiti, and does that mean that being poor on the planet means that you are not good enough to not be poor? That you're not as valuable as those who are not poor? Well, the value of people who are rich, they have a monetary value, but is their value, is their life more valuable, not regarding money, but just in isolation? Is their life more valuable than the poor person's life? Well, some people would say, well, that person has created jobs and has created these things for other people. It has contributed this to society, but have they really? What are the rules to work for them? Look at the Amazon guy. He's created jobs, but has he just created indentured servants? Has he created another form of slavery? Because people are always, I don't know. I've never met anybody who works for Amazon, but I've read a lot of stories, and maybe you guys have a different opinion, of people who work for Amazon. They're underpaid. The working conditions are terrible. And here is Jeff Bezos, who's the richest man on the planet. So, this whole vibration society or community, New Age community, to me, they remind me very much of that whole prosperity gospel, like the Joel Osteen, where it's like it's easy to put down the people who are suffering. It's easy to put down poor people who are still living off the earth because we talked about this last time. There's something in the human being that wants to reject its own nature, and so it must rise above its own nature and become superior to its own nature instead of accepting its human nature and integrating it so we're whole and not split in half. Which is, to me, the reason why we've created institutions that are lopsided and imbalanced, and our laws are imbalanced, our rules are imbalanced, because we started from that seed of rejecting our true selves. Let's see. Jackie says, religion repackaged love and light BS totally dismisses that negative experience as a catalyst to growth. Right. this is where, and then I think that Trisha said something similar or means something similar too. This gives you the opportunity to be the phoenix. So what if people were born, these people that are able to afford going to these yoga classes or afford going to these retreats and talk about good vibes, good vibes, good vibes, and all these things. I'm not saying that they haven't suffered or that some of them haven't come up from something very difficult, but overall, it's like if you were born into a situation that you've had everything handed to you, or you haven't really had to push too hard to make it in the world for whatever reason, you had some seed money from your family, you have a family you can fall back on, at least you know that. I mean, who knows? There could be a lot of reasons. Then has your sword been sharpened? Have you been forced to see what you're really made of? I think that being born poor on this planet, especially being born poor, being born a woman, depending on where you're at, being born, and all these other different in these sort of oppressed groups, throughout the world, it's almost like we can wallow in our fear of being in that group and feeling victimized, and we will feel victimized at some point. But the reason I think being able to accept feeling like a victim is important is because then you have an opportunity to rise in a way that people who've never suffered, they'll never understand what that takes, So therefore, they're not going to be like Jason and the Golden Fleece. You know about that story? Jason and the Argonauts, where he had to go down and like these layers of hell to get the Golden Fleece. And he had to fight, all these different mythological creatures and monsters in order to get the Golden Fleece. So when he got it, he earned it. He earned it. Okay. Let's see. I'm going on here. Emilio, yes, it has levels. I don't know everything about it, though. I don't think we all know. I think that some of us know some things about it, but we don't all know everything about it. So you're in good company. High vibes don't always feel good. High vibes are simply authentic. Truth isn't. Yeah, always warm and fuzzy. Right. Truth isn't always warm and fuzzy. That's why I wear this top hat and I got the devil playing the piano back here. This is Lawrence, by the way. This is Lawrence. This is Larry's brother, Larry and Lawrence. And then there's Lilith hanging out. So this is why I do it, because it helps me move through. Let's see. Yes, the truth is that some people should just keep drinking like me and leave the good spiritual stuff for others. Hey, I started this Church on the B-Sides having tequila shots, and I figured I should just go ahead and stop, and I'll have them later. Okay. Thing. Spirituality is good as long as it's based in truth, right? It used to be one of those coexist sticker wearing hippies. I feel so attacked. I'm not attacking you. I don't know. Okay, so let's see. Bad vibes to me are inauthentic, foul, and harmful people. Right. We are animals, and the sooner we accept that, the better. That's right. And this is exactly my point about sharing our human nature, because we have completely gaslighted our own human nature. So I was watching. I wanted to share this a little bit here with you guys. This is something I was watching on Netflix. This week we started watching. All right, so how many of you guys watch Netflix a lot? You guys watch it? There's a show on Netflix called Shaka Zulu, right? Is it Shaka Zulu? Yeah, Shaka Zulu. You guys, have you seen Shaka Zulu, you guys? Do you know about the story I'm talking about? All right, so Shaka Zulu came to be like the king of the Zulus in South Africa. Was it in the 1700s, right? Like
1824.
Was it 1824? Mm-hmm. Okay. So Shaka Zulu is really incredible. And I'm bringing this up because we're talking, I always bring up these examples, but Shaka Zulu is amazing because it shows the juxtaposed clash of the British whites, the colonizers, and the South African blacks. I mean, there's no, blending there. It's like a there it is, pretty incredible. And so what watching the show has done for me, and let me know if you guys have thought about these things when it comes to like racism, and especially racism. I'm going to stay right there. Is they showed a man, Shaka, who was completely rejected by his father, who was the king before him, right? And I'm going by the show. By the way, I haven't read any books about Shaka Zulu. I haven't done any further research, but I want to after watching this show. So I'm going by the show. And if you guys have information, please share if you have more. So he was rejected by his father, who is the king. And, and so he was treated like shit. He and his mother were casted out. I mean, shamed. Just completely casted out because she was not the principal wife, as she got pregnant by him anyway. She went off and had a son, and that was Shaka, right? So they were cast out, and I mean, they were treated like shit. When I say they were treated like shit, they were not just bullied. Like their homes that they built were burned down by their own people, and it's just one of those things that I was thinking about tribalism, and I was thinking about people who just tribalism, and here we have this. There was conversations about Jesus with Shaka by one of the characters, brought the Holy Bible to him. And Shaka was saying, why is this man on a tree, hanging on a tree? And the white colonizer said, he's the king of kings, and he's the king of the Zulus, and he's the king of all of us. And he was like, well, if he's the king, he wouldn't be hanging on a tree, or he would have been a better leader. He wouldn't have been killed, or he would have been followed. So there's this really great juxtaposition of nature, which is represented to me by Shaka and the Zulu people, who were living off the laws of the land, right? And then you have the colonizer over here, which is the New World. And I'm watching this, unfold in the story. And as the story is told, it shows that Shaka Zulu had a lot of wisdom. And so the colonizers assumed that he was just some kind of and all his people were just dumb. Because somehow their knowledge is higher than Shaka Zulu's knowledge because they're not civilized. And it made me think about this idea of money and then poverty. But these people don't know that they don't think that they're poor. They're just living off the land. They're tribal people. They're not poor. But to the eyes of the colonizers, they're poor, because they have a concept of money. Shaka Zulu and the tribes in Africa didn't have a concept of money. So I just think it's really interesting because it made me think about tribalism and how Christianity is also a form of tribalism, and how this tribalism, for some reason, it has been able to reach all of us and infect all of our minds so deeply subconsciously. So I think that this is also why this new age culture that has risen out of the deep 80s. I mean, it's always been around, but now it's becoming more mainstream. And it's cool to do that, but they don't realize that they are carrying the same vibration that Christianity is carrying, where it's got this really deep-rooted superiority. And it makes me think of why is that in us? Why is that in humanity? The desire to be better than, the desire to prove that we are superior than, that we are smarter than, that we are wiser than. What is it? Is this going to help us feel more worthy of being here? Is it because we want to be accepted into some kind of crowd? And to me, and this is, the whole vibration thing and vibing at a high vibration, this is what I think has been very, very misunderstood, again, in our society right now, because it's just being replaced. Now we have good vibes instead of Jesus. Now we have good vibes instead of, here's the prosperity gospel. So it's one of those things and I saw that in Shaka Zulu. I love that story because to me that shows a very clear example of Adam and Lilith, which is nature and mankind, right? The emperor with no clothes and nature. However, in nature, Shaka Zulu was ruthless. He was a ruthless leader. So that is also in all of us, despite our status, despite our ethnic backgrounds, despite our nationalities, despite our religion. Even as we move through with the laws of nature, we are still people who want to conquer and want to be better than or superior than, because Shaka Zulu kept saying, I'm the king of kings, not yours. I'm this, not you. So to me, it's like when I talk about vibrations, it's one of those things that we have to be able to spot what is the lie, what is being said or done out of fear, what is somebody attempting to compensate for. Are they exaggerating something because they are attempting to compensate? If they are, then what are they attempting to compensate? And you cannot see this energy unless you ask these questions. And the more and more that you ask these questions, the more and more you're able to identify the pattern, right? So this whole thing about the vibrations, I would say that the highest vibration is just to be completely honest. And it's hard for us to be honest with each other because we're afraid to be judged and casted out into the cold or fired from your job. Let's see. I'm going to see what you guys are saying here. Okay, so Trisha, you know what, Trisha, you're from South Africa. Okay, so let's see. Boom, boom, boom. He was the greatest warrior king amongst the Zulus. His art of warfare was incredible. He won battles that should never have been won because of his horn tactics. He was a wise man. He is one of my African spirit heroes. I would love to learn more about him, Patricia, because all I'm doing is I've just started watching this. We both have started watching this on Netflix, and so and they portray him to be a wise man and not somebody who's easily fooled, which was the assumption of the colonizer, right? I mean, he was sort of they realized that they underestimated him. You must go tribal to find your roots, right? Let's see. We are suffering and fighting in South Africa because of the stigma of Christianity, and the people here have lost their roots. Now they're introduced to so-called the world evil, where tribal custom nature ruled. Yeah, be yourself. Right. So imagine at the beginning, at the beginning of the universe, the great explosion, the great bang, the big bang. What created that big bang? We're talking about vibration. What was it? We can just try to guess all you want, but I remember always having an idea that maybe there was a giant vibration. Imagine those horns, like a giant horn sounding something through the universe. And eventually sound can break glass. Sound can do just everything, an immense amount of everything. And, so what if that's what created some kind of intense pressure in this place of black matter, right, in the universe, that exploded the sun, gave birth to the sun. It was the vibration that was this mustard seed, that created the mustard seed, where we are now still experiencing the perpetual motion of that one moment that happened in time and space, literally. And so if you think about, that's the nature of vibration. It is power in our words. How do we create vibration? Out of our own bodies, in our own small little reality and expression inside of this carbon-based life form. How do we express that? It's what we speak. It's what we say. It's how we say it. And that's why it's important to understand what it is that you know, or what you think you know, what I think I know, because the level of responsibility that comes with speaking is everything. You speak out into the world, and so it is. Amen, abracadabra, Amun Ra, all these things, speak it into existence. And people are cursing each other all the time. I don't believe in cursing. I don't believe in witchcraft. I don't believe. This is the fourth chakra, and this is the chakra of witchcraft. This is the word coming out of your carbon-based life form. This is the vibration coming out of your carbon-based life form. What you speak creates a vibration. And it's good to know what you know so that you know what you speak. And if you mean to harm someone, the very least that you should do and that I should do is to know I'm doing this because I mean to harm someone. It's ownership of all of it. So this is not me telling you don't say bad things. I'm just saying, hey, if you're going to say some shit, know that you're saying it and you know why you're saying it and own it all the time. Own it. Okay? And then whatever the repercussions are from you saying these things, don't be surprised by them. Observe them and let those repercussions speak to you as the cause and effect of your language. It gives you an idea of sort of like where you are and what you're doing, what you're creating in the world. You know, if this keeps coming back to you, that's informing you of the response of your words. Let's see. I'm going to look here. Yes, knowledge is power and power is responsibility. Like Spider-Man says, along with great power comes great responsibility. Okay, I think that, let me see, here we go. I think that if you take a big step back, you will see that we are all part of some tribes of some sort. Right. We fall into the group that vibrates to us. Exactly. We tap into the minds that echoes back. Cool kids, bad kids, weird kids, they all are what they are because they believe in who they are. When you piss off the wrong guy, when you sleep with the wrong girl, when you insult the wrong brother, the whole tribe jumps into your head. It's basic energy. Work, let loose, and loose into the world of man. Right. And the thing is, I want to talk about tribalism so bad, but I can't talk about that in today's show. I'm going to make that a huge point to talk about in 2020 on Church on the B-Sides after we go over the Hermetic Principles, the tribalism, and connecting it to how it has translated into the world and the machine through racism, specifically, and sexism and all these things, because I want to talk about human nature. So thank you for bringing that up. What you see in the mirror is already in the past. Oh, I love that. Yeah. So we will talk about tribalism a lot, and I'm looking forward to that very much in 2020. So we got 5 minutes till, and let me just look at my notes real quick, you guys, here, because I want to be sure to wrap up and just kind of wrap up here and let you guys just sort of talk about already. The vibration is that, you know, we can talk about the Big Bang and how the universe was created. That's the most sort of far away, esoteric, untouchable thing that we can talk about, but it's true. We have to start there, right? As above, so below. But then when we come down to our daily lives and to who we are today, how does that affect me today? What does that matter to me today? How can I apply that in my daily life? The way you can apply the law of vibration in your daily life is understanding, challenging your knowledge. Again, I always come back to this, don't I? Self-knowledge, self-knowledge, self-knowledge. How well do you know your true motivations? How courageous are you to admit to them? To yourself. You don't have to tell anyone else, but to yourself. Once you're able to do that, it's like a release. You've admitted it, and then don't judge it. Don't be like, look at, you're an asshole. You shouldn't think that way, or you shouldn't want to say those things. Or don't. No. Tell that little troll of a voice to sit down. It's in your way of your growth. Observe the truth of what's in your heart and admit it. Confess to yourself. From there, when you know your own thoughts, then you can control your speech, and then you can start to become more in alignment with the truth, with your speech, and what you're speaking and manifesting and creating in the world as a result. And as you do that, you will create earthquakes in your life, and all the other things that are of that same vibration are going to say, hey, what's that freak flag? That freak flag looks like mine. And then that's how you attract everyone else who's on that sort of frequency, that same frequency, and your life starts to change in a way that starts to mirror back to you the truth of what's in your heart. Now that what's in your heart is in your life and in the people in your life. And it doesn't mean that you won't go through a point of a phoenix rising out of the ashes. Then some things might fall apart. But this is how that works in your life every day, is through your words and what you speak and what you say. So it's good to know truly what you know, so that you know how to express it and take ownership of what you express and stand in your power like that. That is how the law of vibration works in our lives. That's the practicality of it. It's good to know the greater as above with the giant big bang, and then how do you move it into your daily lives? It's in your voice. It's in your words. It's in your language. All right. Let's see. I'm going to read a little bit more what you guys are saying here. And then we're going to be moving on. Here, let's see. Weird vibes only. Right. I mean, clearly it's like weird vibes. Nothing rests. Everything moves. Everything vibrates. Nothing rests. Everything moves. Everything vibrates. Right. Exactly. The Kabbalion. Everything that is still at a deeply microscopic level is on fire and is alive. It's always moving. So let's see. Oh, the NLP. God, there's so much to talk about. I know. And this is an hour show. This is what I plan on having, like all kinds of talks and webinars and things in 2020. And you're totally picking up on. I'm so excited on where I want to go with all this. Be impeccable with your word. Yes, and if you mean to harm someone, own it. Own it. And then see what happens. I am not here to tell anyone what they should or shouldn't do that is right or wrong. That's not what Trust on B-Sides is. What this is to help remind all of us, including myself, to remain in touch with our truth. And if we don't like our truth and we want to evolve and transcend our truth, there are things we can do so that we can do that and become the phoenix, right? Over and over and over again. All right, you guys. One more thing. Let's see. Now I'm going to scoot down here real quick. Yeah, so remember, the road to hell is paved with the pretender. So don't pretend. All right? You ready?
You should play like this and you keep talking until you're done. Ring your
bell
and have some fun.
So, as always, this is how I like to end. It's my favorite thing to say to people. There's a flower that grows in the darkness, lily of the valley. So many reasons it shouldn't exist. It must be celebrated. You are one of those flowers. So you may as well bloom because it's going to be dark for a while, people. You may as well shine on. Shine on. High vibes. High vibes. Well, now, hey. Go blow up the world, people. Come back next Sunday, 2 o'clock Central, 3 o'clock p.m. 3 o'clock Eastern. And check out the website, sexandjudgment.com. And live stream on Twitch. And next week, we're going to talk about, what's the next principle, babe? Do we know it?
I thought you said polarity?
Oh, it's polarity. It's one of my favorites. We're talking about the law of polarity. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us today, okay? I appreciate it that you guys show up. There's a lot you guys are going to be doing, and thanks for being here, all right? Say bye to Lilith, Larry, Toto, and Lawrence.